Got jab, jab, come in with a hook, uppercut like this, then a right hook and keep jabbing. Keep jabbing. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Monday, November 18th, 8 a.m. on the dot. The steam is coming up. This is tea. Already had my cup of coffee. Was kind of in the mood for tea. So I went tea for instead of 2 cups of coffee. I'll have another cup of coffee later. I'm going to warn you guys right now. If you have tea, yeah, it's dangerous. Tea is dangerous. That thing is just piping hot. This is what we got. Some ginger tea. You know what's kind of cool here? So I saw this Yogi brand, right? Kind of a popular brand. It's you get it anywhere. So it's got on the back of it, on the back of the tea bag, it's got a quote. Here's today's quote. The one who listens understands. The one who listens understands. That's a quote that they got there. So pretty cool. I didn't know they had that on their actual tea bag. So good morning to everybody. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. This, of course, is the Sliwa Show. We are off to, was episode 34? 36? I can't remember what I wrote this morning. But we got a lot to talk about today. And we certainly are going to spend a lot of time we're certainly going to spend a lot of time talking Lakers basketball. If you guys see on the side here, I want to talk about the 9-4 record that the Lakers have. I want to spend some time talking about JJ Redick. There was pretty cool, I thought a cool video that the Lakers put out on Twitter on Dalton Knecht. So I want to play that for everybody. Inside the NBA is going to continue. Keep that one in mind. I think no question about it. That is a cool kind of feature there that Inside the NBA is going to continue. It's actually going to be on ABC and ESPN. So smart from them, smart for everybody to make sure that Inside the NBA is continuing. So it's definitely going to continue. Rams got a win yesterday. I'll talk a little bit about some NFL games. The Chargers got a win last night as well on Sunday Night Football. For all those that told me Tyson versus Jake Paul, for everybody that just kind of sat there and said, Al, you got to watch Tyson versus Jake Paul, I blame you all for wasting my time on Saturday night. I'll talk a little bit about that, and then I got a weekend recap. And then I ran into one thing towards the end of the show. You know, sometimes people ask me, when I was doing the postgame show after the postgame show, if you know, you know. If you don't know, then I don't know what you want me to tell you. When I was doing the postgame after the postgame, every once in a while, people would say, hey, Al, you got a story for us? They even titled it something. They called it Storytime with Sliwa. I got a little bit of a story for you guys that happened when I was at the market yesterday. So I'm gonna tell you guys a little about that. Somebody tried cutting in line. It's a whole story. We'll get to it towards the end. So stick around for that. Thank you for being a part of the show. As you guys know, I'm sorry that I got to do this, but it's very important to the channel that I have to do it. Please do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel. If you have not yet subscribed, please like the video. That helps out the channel a ton. You know, since I've been asking people to subscribe and everything else, since I started doing this Monday through Friday, I think I've got almost 1,500 subscribers in that time where I posted I'm leaving ESPN LA to where we're sitting today. So thank you very much for doing so. It's very much appreciated. And it helps me. It really, really does help the channel. It's going to help in every possible way. So it's the best way to support the channel is just by liking and just by subscribing. Let's freaking start the show. Lakers had 2 games over the weekend. By the way, before I do that, can I just be a little respectful here? Good morning, Slee. Let me see what we got here. I don't want to hear he's 58, okay? I picked him to win. I had a lot of money on the line. Good morning, Slee. Slee, what's for breakfast? No breakfast today. Tea for Slee. Happy Monday, Laker fans. Okay, so good morning, everybody. So rude of me. Good afternoon from London, my brother. Thank you very much for tuning in from London. How badass is that? Okay, so let's get the show started here. Lakers had 2 games over the weekend. That's how I'm going to start the show. Yesterday, I put up a video just talking about Dalton Knecht. So I would just encourage you guys, if you guys want somebody basically kissing the ass of Dalton Knecht, go back to yesterday's video. I don't want to spend, it was like 17 minutes long, so I really broke down some stuff there. I'm not going to spend too much time on Dalton Knecht. I really just more want to talk about the Lakers and what they did over the weekend. But I do have a video out on Dalton Knecht. So 2 wins over the weekend. I thought they had a really, really tough game against the San Antonio Spurs. I thought it was going to be a tough game against the San Antonio Spurs, and it was. I'm going to give San Antonio a ton of credit. I did not know, outside of Victor Wembanyama, how many young, talented players that they have on that team. Very, very impressive team. I think everyone will know, and Laker fans understand this. There's going to be talents. The San Antonio Spurs, they're going to develop players. They're going to run the right system. They're going to put Wembanyama in the right position. A lot of times in that game, I think Lakers are going to lose this game. I actually thought coming in, I thought they'd split the 2 games. I thought they'd lose in San Antonio and win in New Orleans. It didn't happen. Lakers took both games. I don't need to get into the details of what happened in the game against the San Antonio Spurs, but it was AD dropping another 40. It was Austin Reeves. It was Max Christie stepping in, having a really nice game. So it was great to see. They get the win. And then the second of a back-to-back, you got the Pelicans. And I think everybody just assumed this was going to be a blowout. Everybody just kick back and relax, enjoy your Saturday night. I'm telling myself, I even went for where my studio is, about a block and a half away. There is a pizza port close by. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go grab myself a 6-pack of beer over there. It's going to take me 3 months to finish. That's how much, that's where I am right now in my drinking ability. But I'm going to go grab a beer. And then during the post-game show in the Lakers, I'm going to crack open a beer. End of the first quarter, I'm like, I don't think I'm cracking open this beer. I don't think Lakers are going to beat the Pelicans. They end up winning 104-99. 2 road wins for the Lakers. It puts them at 9-4. The reason why I want to set it up that way is because I think sometimes we get caught up. This is me. I'm specifically talking about me. Okay, you won a game. What it looked like. Because I could sit here right now and tell you that the Pelicans game, they're missing DeJounte Murray. They're missing Zion Williamson. They're missing, go down the list. Herb Jones is out. Jose Alvarado. They got a lot of players that are out right now. A lot of key players for them are out. So am I supposed to just not give the Lakers credit for winning a second of a back-to-back against the Pelicans? Or should I just say, well, they're 9-4. They got another W. Because here's what's going to happen. And this happens in the NBA all the time. All the time in the NBA. Good teams lose to bad teams. That just happens. I know we look at it and we say to ourselves, I can't believe this happened. How the hell did this happen to the Los Angeles Lakers? What the hell are they doing this, that? We do it all the time. But I think what we forget, this shit happens every single night in the NBA. Good teams lose to bad teams. Bad teams come out of nowhere and beat a good team. So I want to give the Lakers credit for what they did over the weekend. I think part of my perspective changed. If you guys remember on Friday, Brian Windhorst was on the show. Really appreciated his time on Friday. He had a lot of great things to say, so I appreciate his time. But Windhorst, when I said, hey, I can't figure out, this is before the Lakers won both of the games over the weekend. I can't figure out, is this just an average team that's got a little bit lucky because Ja Morant wasn't in this game and they get a little fortunate that there's been some other players, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, or is this an above average team? And he said, your record is what your record is, and don't pay attention who's in the game or who's not. And I think what he was trying to say is this. In today's NBA, rarely do all the stars play. And in today's NBA, who cares? Just try to stack up as many wins as you possibly can. And as the season progresses, things were just going to figure itself out. And I think that's the point that Brian Windhorst was trying to make to me. And I think for the Lakers right now, basically what Windhorst was saying is just win the games in front of you and then let everything else figure itself out. The Lakers are going to get better just because Jared Vanderbilt will eventually come back. I know Laker fans are probably so sick of me saying that and sick of other people talking about that as well. But with that being said, eventually when he does come back, this Lakers team will be better because Vando is going to help the Lakers on the defensive side. All right, if the Lakers kind of keep at this pace, maybe not winning 9 of 13 games every time, but if are they going to be 18-6 through the first 24 games or the first 26 games? Probably not, but that's okay. They don't need to be 18-6. So will this pace slow down for the Lakers? Sure it will. Will the schedule get tougher? Sure it will. But I think what it can also help trigger is the front office and Rob Pelinka, the more wins that you stack up and the more that you continue to improve the roster on a night in, night out basis, I think the more pressure it's going to put on the front office to say, we got to go make a move. We have to find a way to improve this roster because this roster is telling us we could compete in the Western Conference. Maybe we're not the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed or the number 3 seed, but maybe we could be top 5 seed. And you certainly put yourself in the mix. You obviously want to avoid the playing tournament and everything else. Okay, let me point out another thing here. Yesterday, I was doing the stats. Yesterday, while you guys were hanging out, scratching your ass on a Sunday, watching NFL football, that's not what I was doing. I was going back on all these different basketball reference, and I was trying to look at what was the Lakers' record over the last couple of years through 13 games. What was their record over the last 20 games? So while you're sitting there playing grab ass, watching Steelers and the Ravens, or watching the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills, I was hard at work. All right. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. Didn't take that long, to be honest with you. Lakers start the season out 9-4. Last year, through the first 13 games, Lakers were 7-6. 2 years ago, they were 3-10. 3 years ago, they were 7-6. Okay, through the first 20 games last year, Lakers were 11-9. They were 8-12 2 years ago, and they were 10-10 through the first 20 games 3 years ago. The reason why I'm pointing that out is I have a curiosity of you got 7 games left before your first 20 games are over. And I think if you start the season out 9-4, if you could just go 4-3 in your next 7 games, you're walking in 13-7 through your first 20. That's a solid start. That's a great start for the Lakers, especially, like I said, how much they've struggled in years past with the beginning of the season. So Utah and Orlando are their next 2 games. Come on now. Those are both at home. No Paolo Banchero in the game on Thursday. Talk about winnable games for the Lakers. So you got Utah and Orlando. Then you're home against Denver. Then you go out on the road, Phoenix, San Antonio. Then you're home against OKC, and then one more at Utah. That sums up your first 20 games of the season. So there is definitely an opportunity for the Lakers right now to capitalize on the start that they have, and definitely an opportunity for the Lakers to put themselves in a position where, as we all know, the hope is, can you just not be hovering around that play-in spot? Can you just give yourself a little bit of room to breathe by the time the beginning, mid-March rolls around? And that's, I think, the hope for the Lakers. Right now in the standings, by the way, Lake Show sitting at 9-4, and they're 4th in the West. So just something to keep in mind from that perspective. All right, let me read some of your comments here, and then I want to shift gears and talk a little bit about JJ Redick. All right, let's see what we got here. Slee, that coffee looking like a volcano ready to erupt. Bro, you got to be careful here. And this one's tea. This one's just tea. How cool is this? I love the quote on the back here. The one who listens, no. The one who's listening understands. It's too busy talking. I couldn't even figure that out. Pizza port today for lunch. Get in there. A lot of people loving the pizza port. Lofty Coffee in Solana Beach. Highly recommended. I've been there. Very, very good. Okay, let me take a look at some of the comments specifically around Lakers basketball here. There is no chip in the Lakers' foreseeable future. Okay. I think with this roster that they have right now, I agree with. That's why when I say you got to put pressure on this front office to go out there and make something happen. Man, when Windhorst said on Friday, it was just a critical error by the Lakers front office. And every time I hear the name, I'm like, God, he would have been a perfect fit. And remember, this would have been a year and a half ago. Lakers had a chance to get Mike Conley instead of D'Angelo Russell. Oh, that's a critical error. That was a critical mistake. Even if D'Lo's played well, even if D'Lo's a lot younger, I think they've always needed a point guard like that. A player that You got to respect his outside shot. He's a veteran, has been in the league for a long time, understands big situations. The reason why I set it up that way is because they're going to need to make a move. They're going to have to, at some point, by the time you get to the Laker trade deadline, they're going to, at some point, have to do something to improve the roster if they want to be a legit championship contender. So whether that's going to happen or not, I have no idea. But, that is something that you kind of look back on and you say to yourself, they had that opportunity. All right, coaching makes a difference. Coaching made a difference. So let's do a little bit of coaching. I'm going to ask Laker fans out there because I'm going to give my opinion on this as well. Thoughts on JJ Redick so far? So are the Lakers 9-4 because of JJ Redick? Is it just as simple as that? Hey, you know what? The Lakers they're this much better because JJ Redick is their head coach. I don't, by the way, I don't know yet, and I don't think it's fair to have that answer just yet. Just because you're only 13 games into the season, and he's only 13 games into his coaching career. So I don't know if the Lakers are who they are because of JJ Redick. I would tell you that it's just way too small of a sample size. But let me give my thoughts on JJ Redick so far this season. I don't know what it is about his style, his presence, his confidence, his philosophy. I don't know what it is, but I like it. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that it feels like he's not married to any one of these players outside of LeBron and Anthony Davis, but you would be an idiot to not, use LeBron and Anthony Davis the way he's using them. But when I say he's not married to any of these players, let me give you an example. I feel like with JJ Redick, the number one priority right now, every single night is I'm just trying to win the freaking game. I don't care how it happens. I don't care if I hurt some feelings along the way. I don't care if there's some players out there that are upset about their playing time. I don't care if somebody's bitching and complaining. My goal is to win. And if I'm going to put this Lakers team in a position where they could start out the season 9-4, or maybe through 20 games, they are 13-7, or maybe by the time we get 60 games in, you're looking at the standings and you're saying, okay, hey, I like the spot that the Lakers are in. They're fourth or fifth or somewhere around there, and they don't have to worry about that play-in tournament. Philosophically, so far with JJ Redick, I'm a fan that it feels like basketball before feelings. Now, listen, it's going to be up to him to juggle that the right way. Who knows the conversations he's having with some of these players behind the scenes? I'm sure there is a diplomatic way of doing it, but you could tell he values, I'm trying to win, more important than what you think, or if you're worried about how much playing time that you're getting. I'll give a couple examples here. Let's use Max Christie. A lot of hype behind Max Christie coming into this year. Not hype like, I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that Max Christie was going to play 35 minutes a game, but a lot of people felt like, I think Max Christie is going to take a leap, and Darvin Ham was the one that was holding him back because he wasn't giving him enough playing time. Well, JJ tried Max Christie, and then JJ decided, yeah, that ain't working. Even though I have no bench, even though I'm completely depleted, even though I don't have Vando and Cam Reddish was in and out of the lineup, even though Christian Wood's not there, you know what? I'm just not going to play Max Christie if the guy is not doing what I need him to do. And then what did he say? He had a quote, I think it was after the San Antonio Spurs game. He's like, it's a lot easier for me to play this guy that many minutes when he plays like that. Just I know it sounds simple, and I know that's nothing crazy, but a lot of times coaches might get caught up in, it's going to turn around. It's going to turn around. Maybe what's best for Max Christie is I'm going to sit his ass on the bench for 3-4 games in a row. And then when the time comes for me to give him another opportunity, let me see if he delivers. Let me use D'Lo as an example. D'Angelo Russell has not got off to a good start. It's not a great start for D'Lo so far this year. I think we all know that. I think we all understand that. But with all that being said, I think one of the things that he established early on with D'Angelo Russell, this is a production league. If you're producing, I'm going to give you the time. If you're not producing, well, I got to shake things up. Now, I think with D'Lo was a little bit more unique. I thought D'Lo was a little bit more unique because I didn't think it was just about is D'Angelo Russell good enough to be a starter? I thought it was a little more strategic with D'Lo, where the idea and the concept was, first off, you and Austin Reeves in the backcourt together, we're getting demolished on the defensive side, so that's not a good strategy. And I don't have anybody coming off the bench that I could rely on. So I think, in some ways, he was complimenting D'Angelo Russell's game by saying, come off the bench. We need you more off the bench. And then you could be more yourself. You can go out there and you could facilitate. You could be the player that's got the ball, because we know that if you're in there with LeBron predominantly is going to have the ball and is basically playing point guard or point forward. So we need you to come off the bench. I thought he was accomplishing two goals when he told D'Angelo to come off the bench. Number one, your play is not justifying you 35 minutes a game. And number two, we need help off the bench. And maybe this is going to help our starting lineup. He's done some other small little things that I think are important so far this year. Dalton Knecht, from the start of preseason, he basically told him, I'm going to play you as many minutes as I can, because we don't have anyone on our team that has the skill set that you have. I know that you're 23 years old. I know that you haven't played yet in the NBA. I know that it's going to be a tough adjustment for you to come in. But I'm going to give you as many minutes as possible. I'm going to give you as much confidence as possible. And I'm basically going to ask you, when you get opportunities, go ahead and take advantage of it, because I need you to do so. Kind of instilled some confidence in a player like that. He took Cam Reddish and put him in the starting lineup, said, let me just try this out. So he's running everything through Anthony Davis. There is no question whose team this is today. It's not LeBron James. As great as LeBron has been, the triple-doubles that he's been putting up, as impressive as LBJ has been at age 39, this team runs through Anthony Davis. And there's a reason why the Lakers have a chance, or Anthony Davis has a chance to be in the MVP conversation this year, is because the keys that we've been talking about being handed over to Anthony Davis, whether Anthony Davis wanted to grab them or not, JJ Redick just took the keys and he threw them to him. You ever have somebody, you're going on a road trip with a couple of buddies or something like that. Hey, who's driving? I ain't driving. You throw the keys to somebody else. It's like, yeah, this is yours. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. JJ Redick, LeBron James, these guys are in the passenger seat. AD, you're driving the show. So listen, I look at JJ Redick. I'm not telling you he's perfect. I'm not telling you that this is going to last all season long and that he's the next Pat Riley, because that would be idiotic to compare him to any of the great coaches, because the guy just started. But what I can tell you is this. I like how he doesn't give a flying you-know-what about the players and the media and everybody else. And I'm not saying, I don't even mean that disrespectfully. I feel like he has this mentality. Whatever the hell it takes to win, that's my goal. Everything else comes secondary. He's not going to be disrespectful to the players. He's not going to be disrespectful to the media, but he's going to do it his way. And I've said this a couple times, and I'll say it again because I do think it's important to stress. He has the autonomy to do anything he wants, because JJ Redick is going to be here longer than basically every player on that Lakers roster other than Anthony Davis. I don't know how much longer LeBron's going to be in the league. I feel like AD is probably going to be a Laker for the rest of his career. Everybody else on this roster, maybe you could make the case for Austin Reeves. He's got the autonomy to do whatever he wants. And at least for me, I like his competitiveness. I like how he's instilling confidence in a lot of these guys. And I even like that he can't hide his emotions. That there are times where it's like he's losing it on the bench. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have an issue with that. So that's my take on JJ. I think so far you really could not have asked for a better start for JJ Redick. He's been phenomenal. He's making it happen, and give this man credit too, because I'm sure for him, it's got to be intimidating. The first time you're ever coaching in the NBA and you didn't get the keys to the Pistons or the Hornets or the Sacramento Kings. You got the keys to the Los Angeles Lakers. There's only a few brands out there that are worldwide. Lakers are one of them, and JJ Redick is their head coach and's got off to a good start. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's read some of these comments. D'Lo has ice in his veins. When? Tell me when. Let me know. Let me know when that happens. Should put Vando in the starting lineup. Can I tell you guys something? I got no issue with that at all. No issue with that at all. If the Lakers, if they put themselves in a position where when Vando comes back, I like the idea of having a defensive. Guys, you got to play defense in the league. You know, in any sport, right? The defense wins championships. People look at that. Like, all right, we got it now. What are you, a coach? Relax. The one thing Windhorst said on Friday was what scares him about the Lakers is they don't play enough defense. He's like, so how can I take them seriously like the Boston Celtics or the Oklahoma City Thunder or even the Golden State Warriors are top 5 right now in the NBA defensively. What he was talking about was these teams that are elite in the NBA get stops. But he said the good news for the Lakers is they got defense coming when Vando comes back. When's he coming back? I have no idea. No idea at all. I know what it is. JJ extremely passionate about winning. The team is feeding off of it. Yeah, and I think there's some too. You know, early on, you believe in everything that your coach is saying, and then all of a sudden, if things start working, that takes it then to another level. Now, all of a sudden, they believe in you even more. Max has stepped up in the past 2 games. Absolutely has. And you know what's kind of cool about that? This is probably another compliment towards the coaching staff. They let him close out that game against the San Antonio Spurs. I'm forgetting off the top of my head if he closed the game against the Pelicans, but he played really good against the Spurs, and they let him close the game out. If you guys remember when I was doing the postgame, by the way, right here, every Los Angeles Lakers postgame show can be heard right here on this channel. If I got to remind you here real quick, I don't know, maybe I was a part of the Lakers radio broadcast for 5 years. Be here for the postgame show. I'll continue to roll up my sleeves for that. But I loved that he gave Max Christie, hey, go ahead and do your thing. You earned closing out this game. That's got to do a lot for his confidence. Okay, I'm going to play a video here of Dalton Knecht real quick. Actually, let me do this. Love what I'm seeing from Knecht and JJ. Alex, thank you very much, brother, for the super. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. You just basically bought my tea this morning. My brother. Alex, thank you for the tea, my brother. It's like you and I just went to a coffee shop or a tea, a coffee shop, and they're selling tea. And Alex came up to me and said, Al, you know what? I got this one. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to play you guys this video real quick. This was, I saw this on Sunday. I saw this yesterday. Look what happened. Look at the timing of this. So on Sunday, I'm sitting there and I get ready to record this video. And I'm talking about Dalton Knecht. I record the entire video. Got it all done. And the moment I finish it, I look and the Lakers put out a video on Dalton Knecht. I'm like, Lakers, could I have not got this a half hour ago? But it's a cool video. I just want to play this real quick. I did mention to you guys, I did a whole video on Dalton Knecht. It's over 15 minutes long. It's on the channel right now. I did it yesterday. Really kind of break down some areas of his game that I love early on in the season, how the guy looks fearless, the whole thing. But take a look here. This is coming from the game on Saturday. These are specific highlights from Dalton Knecht in that game. And it's got a cool quote here. I'm going to read the quote here first, and then I'm going to play these. It's about a minute long. This is Anthony Davis on Dalton Knecht. I mean, every time he shoots the ball, I think it's going in. He's a great player. He can defend. He can shoot. He can pass. He can do it all. When he gets hot, it's a big boost for our team, and we feed off of his energy. This is Anthony Davis talking about a freaking rookie on the Lakers. LeBron had some great quotes as well. So let me play this real quick. It's about a minute of Dalton Knecht from the game on Saturday. Take a quick look.
Has it taken away by LeBron, went right to him. Dalton! Throw it down, 2 hands. Up the Reeves. Good pass to Knecht. The left-hand hook spin pass. I just like the move here is Vincent. Now the left-hand side, Knecht. Got it. Reeves, corner, 3.
What a pass.
Dunk Knecht, and once again, the Knecht. Get a bucket at the other end.
Look how quick that trigger is.
And that's exactly what happens. For the second consecutive night, New Orleans, Knecht catch, shoots,
a rookie,
and another bucket from beyond the arc.
Look at him getting to the basket.
Well, we'll get that in a minute. There he is, throwing it down. With a double Davis, 4-3 underneath. Throw it down. He has it taken away by.
I don't know what to tell you guys. That's freaking beautiful basketball from a rookie. And, his game, it's not one-dimensional by any stretch of the imagination. That's just great, beautiful basketball. The fake pass to D'Angelo Russell goes to the basket, kind of dunking over two defenders, not trying to be cute or soft at the basket. I'm trying to get a bucket. The quick trigger from the corner from the three-point line. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I am so freaking impressed with Dalton Knecht. I'm so excited about Dalton Knecht. I saw somebody, I think it was either on Saturday's post-game show or it was yesterday when I posted the video. I was looking at some of the comments, and somebody said something to the effect, I'm getting me a Dalton Knecht jersey. Well, if you're crypto down there, or that Laker team store, you better start printing more of those jerseys because you're going to start seeing that a lot more around the arena, and I'm sure a lot more wherever Laker fans live. That dude's a baller. Just a great, great display of everything that he does from Saturday night. And like I mentioned, that's coming from Lakers Twitter right there. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Knecht's release is similar to Klay Thompson. He just gets the ball off so quick. He's got to hear Klay. You're right. Klay used to do that. Still does that. Where you get the ball and then he's already churning and he's in motion. And Knecht had a couple of those during, obviously had a couple of those on Saturday. Offense is great. Our defense is trash. We need to learn to get stops. Got to get stops. If this team can't get stops, we already know how, obviously how great. We already know how great Anthony Davis is on defense. He needs help. He needs multiple players that are going to be able to help him do that. All right. I will go back. If there's anything else that you guys want me to hit on Lakers basketball, just put it there and we'll find a way to get back to it a little bit later in the show. Slee, who does Dalton Knecht? Look, this is where he's different. I can't say he's Ray Allen because Ray Allen, for the most part, was staying around the perimeter, and Dalton Knecht is just bigger. And Ray Allen is one of the greatest three-point shooters in the history of the NBA. He's got more of the size of Klay Thompson. He might be taller than Klay. I don't really know how tall he is. I thought Bron said over the weekend he's like 6'8". I'm like, he's not 6'8". He's probably 6'6", 6'7". I don't know what the right comp is. Somebody says Kyle Korver here. I disagree with that. Korver is just too one-dimensional. And basically my entire video that I did yesterday was talking about he's not just a shooter. Who's the right comp for him? I'll have to think about it. I'll really have to think about it. I don't know if I have a good example. I'm trying to think of like a 6'6" small forward / shooting guard, even though he's going to fall more towards shooting guard, something along those lines. Okay. Klay was not just a shooter. Klay was more. Klay was also a lockdown defender. He was a lot more than all that. Do you guys see this big news that came out yesterday? It actually became official today. I'll share my screen with you guys. This is just big for anybody who's a fan of basketball and who's a fan of the NBA. So let's take a look at this together. There were a lot of questions. What is going to happen? The NBA rights deal was leaving TNT. It was leaving Warner Brothers. And there were a lot of question marks of what's going to happen to inside the NBA. Guys, I don't care what sport you watch. Think of the best show in Major League Baseball that covers MLB. Think of the best show that covers the NFL, NHL, whatever sport it is. I don't care if you're a Premier League or whatever the case is. There was not a better sports show than inside the NBA. There is not a better sports show than inside the NBA. And we found out yesterday there were some rumors out there, which I think is kind of genius for everybody. And it just shows you how much the NBA knew it was critical. It was so important to keep Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith, and Charles Barkley together. It was critical. And if you're a fan of the NBA, even my girl, I'll use her as a quick example. She give a rat's. She doesn't care what's going on in the NBA. She'll freaking watch inside the NBA because the guys are hilarious. They're hilarious. And they attract to everybody. And they also are really, really good basketball, their analysis on basketball, whether they have a relationship with the players or don't, they don't really care. They just kind of say what's on their mind. But let me just read a little bit of this here real quick because give everybody just a quick idea what's going on. Inside the NBA will appear on ESPN and ABC beginning next season as part of a settlement between Warner Brothers, Discovery, and the NBA, according to multiple reports. Okay. It's a 11-year media rights deal. All right, let me skip that. Even though Inside the NBA will be on ESPN and ABC beginning with the 2025-2026 season, TNT Sports will continue to produce the popular studio show, and it will air from Atlanta, except when the show goes on the road. Okay, so let me say a couple of things here. Like I mentioned, whether you're a big fan of that show or you're not, or whatever it is, however you view that show, that is literally the best show in sports, period, hands down. Let me say, I've seen a lot of different iterations of ESPN of trying to put together an NBA show. And listen, there's individuals that I like listening to. I like Michael Wilbon. I like Brian Windhorst. There's certain individuals that I'm like, hey, when they talk, I listen. I want to get their opinion on certain things. And I'm sure I'll go down the list. Some people probably love Stephen A. Smith or they hate Stephen A. Smith. Well, they're going to watch Stephen A. Some people maybe love Kendrick Perkins' opinion, who clearly has worked his way into the mix there. I'm not the biggest Kendrick Perkins fan, but that's not my cup of tea. ESPN, with all the resources that they have never really been able to find an NBA show. Look at the commitment that ESPN has with NBA. Look how many resources they put towards the NBA. And they never really had a show that stuck, that you just said to yourself, yep, that's the show. It's not going anywhere. Everybody has tried copying Inside the NBA, which is not going to happen. Major League Baseball kind of is doing something similar where they have Derek Jeter and A-Rod and Big Papi. Okay, is that really ever going to be what Inside the NBA is? No, it's not. And Inside the NBA is the most dominating of all the sports. The thing I like most about this deal is TNT holds on to everything. It's still going to be their production. That ESPN's not going to get their fingerprints on it and say, oh, we want to change it this way and we want to add this or do that. Or no, Shaq, you can't say that. Or Barkley, please, you can't say this type of stuff. I like the fact more than any of this is that the show's going to continue. Okay, it's going to be on ESPN and ABC. But the thing I like most about it is the crew that helped build Inside the NBA from TNT in those studios in Atlanta. You leave everything alone. You don't have to move anything. The guys don't have to travel to LA or to New York, any of that stuff. They get to literally do exactly what they've been doing for their entire career on TNT for Inside the NBA, and nobody else can touch it. I think it's smart on all parties. I think the NBA certainly realized that it was, they were smart to realize that we have to make sure this show continues. Part of the fabric of the NBA is Inside the NBA. Literally part of the fabric of the NBA is Inside the NBA. And the fact that show is going to continue, I think, is big time. And I'll say it again, and this is just my honest opinion. The fact that TNT gets to keep the production and nobody else can screw with it, I think that's going to be key as well. Let's see what we got here. As long as they keep it the way it is, don't need a special guest perk. No, I think it's literally going to be the exact same as it's been. All right, let's see what else we have here. Read a couple more of these comments. It's big news, at least for me. Chuck signed 10 years, but I guarantee you there's a clause in Charles Barkley. Whenever that guy wants to stop, he's going to stop. They will also... Let's see what we got here. I'm tired of Barkley. He always is talking about watching golf or something. He is why people aren't watching as much. There are times where some of the times I get annoyed with Barkley has more to do with when, I don't know, I feel like he makes it personal with some of the players. So I'm not crazy about that. But I'm not tired of Charles Barkley on that show. I think Charles Barkley is that show. If tomorrow Charles Barkley decided to leave and he is no longer with that team, then we're having a completely different conversation. So we'll see what eventually happens there. But I just wanted to point that out because I did think that was big time news right there. Okay, man, I don't even feel like I've cracked any of my notes so far. And here we are sitting here and still got a lot of work to do. So, okay, I'm going to switch gears here for a quick second. Let me read this one here real quick. Mike, thank you for the super. I appreciate that. Slee, would you trade for BI or Turner? Bring up Quincy. Quincy's going to eventually, he's putting up, his numbers he's putting up are way too good. He's eventually going to get some opportunities. Quincy's eventually going to get opportunities. No question about that. But we'll see. I mean, this is the NBA, and it's all going to depend on how the Lakers are doing and what it looks like. But we'll see how it all kind of, how they position themselves. Would you trade for BI? Yes. Would you trade for Miles Turner? Yes, I would. I would trade for any talent that can help improve this roster today. Brandon Ingram's a stud. All right. I don't care if Laker fans loved Brandon Ingram, hated Brandon Ingram. I've always been a fan of his game. I think he's an easy watch for me. Does he probably take high volume of shots? Are there games where he's got dumb turnovers? Yeah. I mean, I think he had 7 turnovers against the Lakers, but he had 32 and 8. And, you know, they're in an interesting spot because I actually really like the Pelicans team. I think they have a good team. They can't get healthy, and BI, I want to say, he's on a contract year, so there's no guarantee that he's going to stay. I don't want to switch gears here. We got 20 minutes left here. I got a couple things here on the NFL. Rams played yesterday. They barely beat the Patriots. Kind of an odd game, 28-22 the final score. I just got a couple takeaways from that game, and then I got a couple takeaways on the NFL, and then we'll kind of keep it moving on some other stuff that I got going on. By the way, if you got thoughts, comments, whatever it is that you want, throw them in the chat, and I'll do my best to try to get to it. Thank you for the supers as well. Okay, so real quick here. Rams played yesterday. It was a morning game. Kind of was watching it in the background as I was doing a little bit of work. They win the game 28-22. Not an impressive win. Not a win that most people are going to sit back and say, oh, my gosh, you remember that win against the Patriots? But a good win for the Rams. And let me tell you what I mean by good win. You had the awful game on Monday night against the Miami Dolphins. Monday night game. Then you got to turn around and travel across the country and play in a 10 a.m. game against the Patriots. I'm sure there's probably, you could make a lot of excuses if they didn't win that game or something along those lines. Clearly, when the Rams have a healthy Puka Nacua and a healthy Cooper Kupp, they can win any game. Not any game, but you know what I'm talking about. But Stafford, almost 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, was phenomenal. Kyren Williams, a good game for him as well, 86 yards on the ground. But the Puka and the Cooper Kupp, that 3 touchdown between both of those players, they have over 230 yards in receiving yards from both of those players. It just changes everything when those guys are in the game. And Puka's had a lot of injuries so far this year. Cooper Kupp in and out of the lineup. It's a good win for the Rams. And it's a good win. Part of the reason why it's a good win for them, it has more to do with the fact that if you look at the standings right now in the NFL and specifically in that division, it's wide open. Literally, that division is completely wide open. If you look at the NFC West right now, the Rams are 1 game behind the Arizona Cardinals for the best record in the NFC West. Niners lost to the Seahawks yesterday. What a weird division this year. 5-5 Rams, 5-5 Seahawks, 5-5 49ers. So all these teams right now are right in the mix, and it's the Arizona Cardinals, who, by the way, have won 4 games in a row. They're the ones leading the pack. I don't think there's a team in that NFC West that is concerned or worried about the Los Angeles or about the Arizona Cardinals. They're just not. Why? Why would they be worried about the Arizona Cardinals? They've just never given anybody any reason to be concerned or worried about them. So Rams, I think, are in a very interesting spot. They're in a good position. If I'd have told you when they were 1-4 that they're going to go 5-5 to start the year, or they were going to end up 5-5 through 10 games, that's incredible. And if you'd also told me that they're 1 game behind the division lead, yeah, that's an interesting one. That tells you a little bit about the division, but it doesn't matter really how you get in the playoffs. If the Rams are able to get in the postseason, I mean, hell, if they're able to win the division, Still going to be a dogfight. I mean, Rams got some really tough games that are coming up. What are their next 3 games? I saw that they got some really tough ones coming up here. Let me just look real quick. They got the Eagles. They're hosting the Eagles coming up this Sunday night. Then they're at the Saints. Then they're hosting the Bills. Then they're at the Niners. So they got some tough games. And then they'll end the season out. They still got a game against the Cardinals, still got a game against the Seahawks, but they're hosting both of those games. But they're in the mix. And anytime you got Sean McVay in the mix, I'd be worried. If the Rams are in the playoffs, Sean McVay as your head coach, I would be worried. That's how great of a coach he is, and that's how much I think a lot of people respect him and respect what he does. Okay, I'm going to read a couple comments here, just see if we have anything that's Rams related, and if we don't, then no big deal. What does this one say? I'm a Cardinals fan, and I know we don't belong on top. Hey, stay on top as long as you can, and that's all that matters. If you just stay on top, that's all that matters. Rams kind of stink, so a win is a win. Can I tell you the one thing with the NFL real quick? I'll tell you the one thing with the NFL. Even if the team, I remember last year the Rams started out the season 3-6, and then they found a way to get in the playoffs, and they were tough out. They could have beat the Lions. That game was at Detroit. They could have 100% beat the Lions. That game was at Detroit. I think the thing that sticks out to me, there are certain franchises in all sports that you're like, that team's going to be good again. In the NFL, it's Pittsburgh, it's Baltimore, it's the Rams, specifically since Sean McVay has been there. Kansas City. There's certain teams, Buffalo now, obviously a team that's always in contention. There are certain teams where it's like, if they get in, that's going to be a problem. That's the Rams. I don't think a lot of people want to play them, and I think a lot of that has to do with their head coach. Okay, somebody throwing on here. No Chargers love. I got no love for the Chargers. I want to point that out here. I hate their owner. I despise their owner. He's, how do I put this in a very respectful way? He's a piece of shit. Now that I put that to the side here. No, I do have something on the Chargers here real quick. I think, so Chargers played the Bengals yesterday. For those who don't know why I don't like the Chargers, it's because my hometown, my city, San Diego, that served proud representing the Chargers for 50 years, got their back completely stabbed by that dumbass owner. Anyways, long story short, I'm going to give Chargers credit for that win yesterday. And I'm going to give Chargers credit for how they've played so far all season. Listen, there's no secret to sports. If you have a good coach, you got a shot. They have a great coach. They have one of the best coaches in the NFL. And the Chargers, after yesterday's win, are now 7-3 on the season, and they've won 4 games in a row. Did they almost collapse? What were they up? I think 27-6 against the Bengals. Yeah, they almost collapsed. Did the kicker for the Bengals miss 2 field goals? McPherson, did he miss, what was it? One, I want to say, was around 50. The other one, maybe 51. The first one was around 48. Did McPherson lose the game for the Bengals? Yes, he did. Should the Chargers have lost that game? Probably should have lost that game. But they didn't. And they're 7-3. And now all of a sudden, you have a team in the Chargers that are typically used to losing those types of games. When you choke away a lead like that, they usually lose those games. They didn't. So what I would tell you is, from a Charger perspective, there's only 2 teams I want to say, 3 teams. Yeah, 3 teams got a better record than the Chargers right now in the AFC. Buffalo's 9-2. Pittsburgh's 8-2 after they beat the Ravens. And then the Chiefs got their first loss yesterday. They're sitting at 9-1. So how you get the W sometimes, I don't think matters. I think for the Chargers yesterday, that was a big-time win. If they lose that game, and then it's another one of, the Chargers choked again, this and that, maybe that changes the complexion of what the rest of the season looks like. But they didn't. They won, and they got a really good chance of making the playoffs. And if you got Jim Harbaugh in the playoffs, that's Harbaugh's the man. So I think we all know that. Okay, let's keep this thing moving here. Do the Rams have enough in the playoffs? No, I don't think so. But I think I think what they are is they're dangerous just because they got a quarterback and they got a coach. And then you're going to have everybody else need to, play elite elite football to really make some noise. But what is the NFC right now? Like, I take a look at the NFC. I'm just trying to see here. Minnesota scare you? Did the Packers scare you? I don't think so. Detroit is legit. I think Detroit could be the best team in the entire NFL. Phillies had their issues come postseason, but they've won 6 in a row. So you don't have to be better than the Lions and the Eagles, but Vikings, Packers, Commanders, Arizona, Atlanta, you're in the mix with all those teams. But it's still going to be tough because their schedule is going to be a little rough as well. All right, let's keep going here. Some good NFL games yesterday, really good games. Steelers, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs. Even the Sunday night game I thought was good. Really, really good games. All right, let's see what else we have here. Spanos is a scumbag. Yes. Mike Lopez. I'm thinking about, I'm probably going to have somebody on a little bit later in the week to talk MLB free agency. So I haven't heard anything, the Roki Sasaki stuff. The last article we were talking about on Friday was, I'm forgetting his name. It was an article from The Athletic. It doesn't look, it could very easily be that a decision's not made until January 15th. So it could definitely be a while, and we'll keep talking about him. Let's see what else we got here. Dalton, Rookie of the Year. So you're moving off of Will Smith. Don't know if so you're moving off of Will Smith. I don't know if I understand that. I don't understand that. It's just as the record says. Yep, they're average, 500. But they still, I still think that's a big win yesterday. Let's see what we got here. Yep, bias for leaving. Okay, let's keep things rolling here. I got a question for everybody. I want everybody to I hold you all responsible for this. So Friday I'm doing my show. Minding my own business. Was it Friday? Yeah, I think it was Friday. And you guys said to me, you guys started talking about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Like, hey, Al, the fight's coming up tomorrow. It's Tyson Paul. I'm like, guys, all right. I mean, are we really going to watch this? Come on. Don't we reach a certain point where wrestling is done? Listen, you're talking to a guy that used to love Razor Ramon, Jake the Snake, Bret the Hitman Hart, right? Those days are over. Wrestling days are over. You reach a certain age and you're done with that stuff. I don't need some of this wrestling hoopla. Why am I going to watch Jake Paul and Mike Tyson? Okay, then people started going even more on it. Al, you got to watch it, man. There's going to be something else. A lot of people on Netflix. All right, Friday passes by. I do the Laker game on Friday night. Got some more people. Hey, Al, you watching the fight tomorrow? Why do people, by the way, ask me as if like they want to fight me or something? Okay. Then I get to Saturday. Saturday, I'm doing the post-game show. Lakers just beat the Pelicans. No, wait, no. The game was on Friday. It was on Friday night. So Friday, I finished the post-game show. I'm in Pasadena, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch the show. I tell my girl, I'm like, hey, fight's coming up. She's like, what fight? I'm like, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. She's like, I have no idea who Jake Paul is. And is it Mike Tyson 77? I'm like, pretty close. He's 58. She's like, all right, let's put it on. And then all of a sudden, she's hyped up for it. And then now all of a sudden, I get caught into the mix here, and I'm watching this fight. And the hoopla of Jake Paul coming in with his brother, he's riding in the car or whatever. It takes 30 minutes for him to come out in the intro. Finally, he gets into the ring. Then Mike Tyson comes out. The whole time, Netflix is buffering as well. I'm like, buffering? I thought buffering ended in 1999 with AOL. What are we still buffering for? So I sit down. I'm getting ready to watch the fight. I got hyped for the fight. And then I just watched 8 2-minute rounds that I wanted to throw in the towel for Mike Tyson. I felt so freaking bad for Mike Tyson. Can we please do me a favor moving forward? There's 2 problems to what happened on Saturday. Here's one of the problems. One of the problems is we're asking a 58-year-old man to fight a 27, 28-year-old guy. And the legend of Mike Tyson, who he is, I'm like, I don't want to see this guy either get his ass kicked or just not be able to fight, or I don't know what he's doing, kept biting his glove, or his reflexes were, way off, or whatever the case is. The problem is Netflix said 60 million households watched the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight with a high of 65 million concurrent streams. The gate surpassed $18 million with 72,300 in attendance. It topped Canelo Alvarez, who had a fight back in 2021 with a $9 million gate. Here's my issue, and I hope we all learned our lesson here. I'm all good for entertainment. What I don't want to see in entertainment is it's different when he fought Nate Robinson, because Nate Robinson's at least age-wise, he's fine. He could throw some haymakers. Maybe he lands one. We had to watch a 58-year-old Mike Tyson freaking sit in the ring, one of the legends of boxing. And I'm like, can we just stop the fight, please? I want to see Mike Tyson like this. He couldn't move. Roy Jones Jr. kept talking about it. He's like, he's not moving. His legs are gone. They're shot. He wasn't moving at all. So I felt bad for Mike. I hope that we don't have fights like this anymore that are bringing in 60 million households. Because if they're bringing in 60 million households, we're going to have more fights like this. And then, the question was asked about, hey, is this it? Are you done? He's like, I'm not sure. I'm like, Mike, just stop, please. Guy's getting paid. Don't get me wrong on that. But I don't know what the hell I was watching. Let me see some of your comments here. Oh, yeah, I didn't see the girls fight. I just saw I heard it was really, really good. Let's just put it that way. Undercard was great. Those ladies threw down. I heard about it. I just saw the interview at the end where the girl was talking about getting headbutted. It was basically free if you have Netflix, which you're right about that. It was more my time. I'd see some more of these comments here. 60 million households are subscribers. It was free, so people watched. Well, I mean, you call it free. I call it, what is Netflix right now? $15.99 a month or something along those lines. Paul was covering up. Yeah, Paul did say something that he basically decided he wasn't going to hit him. Watching Tyson stumbling to his corner reminds me of a senior citizen. Yeah, because he's 58. Paul needs to fight legitimate. That's what they were saying. Who was it that was saying this? I forgot who was doing the pregame and postgame. Why am I I'm forgetting the name. Anyways, long story short, he was talking about that this guy just needs, if he wants respect, go fight a real fighter. But these guys are all about making money, and that's all that matters, and that's exactly what they're doing. Okay, a couple other things here real quick. College football over the weekend. I just want to do my weekend recap here, and then we're going to call it a day. Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, and Indiana. That's your top 5 teams. Really, really enjoyed. I was watching Tennessee at Georgia over the weekend. It was like number 7 versus number 12. Of course, Georgia wins that game because that's what Georgia does. Bama and Georgia at 7 and 8. If you guys were watching USC, they finally got another conference win and looked pretty good in the process. They win 28-20 over Nebraska. UCLA lost their game against Washington. I did see this, which was kind of interesting. Julian Lewis, the number 2 player and quarterback in the 2025 class, decommitted from USC on Sunday. But then there was also a 4-star Texas A&M quarterback, Hussein Longstreet, number 47 in the 2025 ESPN 300. He flipped. He's going to go to USC. Basically, college football, to simplify all this, it is free agency. Every single year it's free agency. I don't know if you guys like the structure of how college football is now, but it's a professional sport. It is agents are now involved. It's completely different than the way it was. I don't think I mind it. I just think it's going to be really tough to compete unless you're one of these, blue blood programs that has a pocketbook like no tomorrow. Oregon will always compete. Ohio State will always compete. Texas will always compete. Notre Dame will compete. Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, Oklahoma, those schools, Texas A&M, those schools are always going to compete. SC should be competing. I just don't know how much that's going to be the case as, obviously as we go on, how many other schools can compete with that. It's all about raising money now. That's all it is. It's just strictly a corporation and a business, and it's the schools that have the most money that are going to be the ones to grab the best players. Probably not that much different than it was before. It's just more open now. Okay, I got one last thing that I'm going to get into. Ric Flair and Jake Paul is next. Yeah, this one is interesting. What, Canelo told Jake Paul, "I'm not interested." Was that what they were trying to do? I saw that he's trying to get him, something along those lines. A lot of foolish people paying for tickets. Paul gave Tyson a good payday. That part is true. Andre Ward, that's who it was. Andre Ward was on the pre and the post, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, last thing I'm going to get into. I told you guys I have a little story that I want to tell you guys. Let me tell this quick little story, and then we're going to call it a day. By the way, thank you. That hour freaking flew by. I was in the studio early this morning. I was all done, ready to go and prepared. It was like 7:30. I didn't know what to do for the last half hour. So yesterday I'm in El Cajon. El Cajon is where I'm from. And I'm going to have lunch with my mom. So I told my mom there's an international market. It's basically a Middle Eastern market. A lot of Middle Eastern markets in El Cajon. If you guys want the best Middle Eastern food in the state of California, there's two places. It's Glendale in Los Angeles. It's El Cajon in San Diego. So I'm there, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to this international market, and I was picking up some stuff. They got some good stuff, some hummus over there. They got some tabbouleh over there. You want kebabs? They got it all. They got it all over there. But I was going to grab some specific stuff. So they make these breads, these huge breads. It's like it's almost like, you want to call it like the size of a pizza, but it's just bread. And they make them in these clay ovens, old school. There's a clay oven that goes down, and they put them down there. You probably watch some of these on YouTube. They put them down there, and it just, the bread expands, and it's just this beautiful, beautiful, very simple piece of bread that we eat a lot with a lot of food that we have. All right, so I go there, and I'm going to pick up the bread. So I'm standing there. There's a couple people in front of me. There's no real line. It's kind of mayhem. I'm like, okay, wait, can we get a little organization here? Guy, this Middle Eastern guy, probably about 60 years old, just cuts right in front of me. Cuts right in front of me like I'm not even there. And I'm sitting there waiting. I was waiting like a good citizen, like somebody that has been paying his taxes for his entire life. I'm sitting there waiting quietly. I got my hands folded, one hand in my pocket, and I'm sitting there, and the guy cuts right in front of me. And he looks at the ladies in front of him who are making, you got one of the ladies that's got like, she's got the actual dough and she's rolling it out. And then you got the other one putting it in the clay oven. He looks at the girl rolling the dough. He's like, 2 white bread. I'm like, did this SOB just cut right in front of me? Makes immediate eye contact. This guy's a veteran in the game. This guy's been coming to this international market for 15 years. And here comes Sliwa, not establishing my position. Guy cuts right in front of me, says 2 white breads. I look at him. I'm like, did you not just see me here? He doesn't even pay attention to me. Pretends he doesn't even speak English. I'm like, listen, I speak Chaldean. You speak Chaldean. I could still communicate with you in Chaldean. So now I got to be aggressive. He went to the girl with the dough. I went to the girl with the clay oven. And I'm like, 2 white bread. I was here in front of him. He didn't know what to do. We had a standoff there at an international market with this 60-year-old Chaldean guy, and we're both looking at each other like, who's going to get the bread first? You bet your ass I got the bread first. You bet your ass I got the bread first. I got the 2 white pieces of bread, unbelievable bread. She put them in the paper bag. She folded it, put it in the paper bag. I walked away. Who won that? I won that battle. Cut my ass off. This guy's like he was like, you know what he was? You ever go play at the gym back in the day? You go play at the gym and you got a pickup game, and you got that guy that's like 50 years old, 55 years old, that knows every every dirty trick in the book. I'm like, did he just hold my shorts down on a rebound? Did he just foul me and nobody saw it? That's kind of what this guy was. He was a vet in the game at this international market. Bastard, man. If I ever see that guy again in the streets, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. All right, my people. That's what I got right here. It almost went down, guys. It almost went down. You guys want story time with Slee? I'll try to find good stories and I'll try to deliver for you. But they all got to be organic and they got to be real. And they got to be. I can't force these in. Either they happen and it's a good story, or I can't give a story out. Guy tried cutting in front of me. Not on my watch. I got that white bread. I got that white bread before you did. All right, my people. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Solid show today. A lot of people hanging out today. Thank you for doing that. Great stuff on all the comments as well. My people, I'm going to just do one more quick reminder here. Please do me a favor. Like and subscribe to the channel. That's all I'm asking for. If you can like and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much for hanging out. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's a busy day. Tomorrow we got the show 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then, of course, we got the post-game show as well. So thank you very much for being here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will be back tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.